And that's it. Thank you. Some their room card for the law, so. Somebody lost their room card on purpose. So whoever lost their A room, please come to me after the keynote. So, and then we.
So now you are the first keynote speaker, and Felipe Felix. He's a student from ISP. He has been and is very involved in debates both internationally and he wants to create awareness about the importance of social justice. Also brought an organization to Panama that is in order to combat stereotypes. So huge round of applause for our first keynote.
I was reading an article that said that every day 12 women die as victims of femicide in Latin America. Wow, that sounds awful. Somebody should do something about it. Sorry about that, but you already just saw like all my fights. Right. I can safely bet with basically no fear of losing my money that you've either had at least one or overheard one at some point in your life. We are often able to acknowledge problems, yet we assume that someone else or force of nature will simply take care of solving them. This is what we call the bystander effect, which is a major roadblock in a struggle to achieve social sustainability. But anyway, guy just saying a bunch of nice big words that don't really mean anything to me, supposed to be, talking to us as though he was a guru on the topic. I figured you might be wondering that as I speak. So now let's break down some of the facts of this talk. I learned how to use it. According to the Western Australia Council of Social Services, socially sustainable communities are equitable, diverse, connected, and democratic, and provide. Basically, social sustainability is all about people living in a development. But we still have one question left to answer. And why am I talking to you about this? My name is Felipe Felix Mendez, and the reason why I'm here is that I get in and led projects with the ultimate goal of creating a socially sustainable community. Also, the fact that I'm under 18 might have helped, but for purposes, at least that it is because of my projects. Social sustainability is a huge topic, big enough for me to bore you by talking about it for hours and hours. But lucky for you, my biggest project is based on one single aspect of social sustainability, which is social justice. Social justice is much simpler. It basically means that everyone gets what they're entitled to. The problem is that it doesn't quite work that way in real life, as you already know. Because of that, I will talk to you about a little bit of my story, as well as a more of my activism. For about 4 years now, I've been involved in multiple United Nations debates and other activities related to public speaking. My involvement in those disciplines increasingly aware of the issues happening around me, both in Panama and the world at large. That's 2015 me on the screen. Into my debate career. What I saw as the most concerning thing at the time was that I saw very little action being taken about these issues by people my age. Even though I was exposed to a number of people who enjoy debating them. As I found out at my school, I felt the need to speak about the importance of youth engagement with these issues. Although I didn't precisely at the time. To be quite honest, I had absolutely no experience with it at the time. My goal was to encourage others to take action, but I wound up convincing myself to take action. That night, I was planning on grabbing with my family to celebrate my talk, then going to sleep and continuing my regular routine. But things never go as planned. Two things happened that night that changed my life forever. As I spoke right here, a year and a few months ago, United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on Youth, Ahmad Al-Endawi, used to the fact that this will become a turning point in my life. Once the event was over, a parent from the audience came backstage to talk to me. He congratulated me on my remarks and handed me his business card. As I can remember of a conversation, as I was extremely excited. As he walked away, I read his business card and found out that he worked at the United Nations Population Fund. Afterwards, I gave her a pizza. I mean, priorities, please. But I went home extremely happy and thinking about the future. The day after, I woke up to this. I'm still not getting that better. Sorry, okay. Yeah, I woke up to this. I could not wrap the fact that my ideas had reached the United Nations senior official, especially not the exact person that I had talked about just the night before. As a result, I felt truly motivated to make a difference. The thing that happened that day that changed my life forever is that I met someone almost my age doing something about it, unlike myself at the time. He was also a speaker at a TEDx event. His name is Sihan Ahmed, and he's a Bangladeshi who founded a youth advocacy NGO in Princeton, New Jersey when he was 12. This organization is called Redefy. And well, if you're like me and you like to stalk the website of a conference before attending it, or you paid just a little bit of attention when I was being introduced, you already know what comes next. I brought Redefy to Panama. This is a chapter of Redefy, our tiny global network of young social justice activists. Now, at this point, I want to move into a deeper the context in which we have worked in, the Panamanian society. On the screen, you can see some of the first things that come to mind when the Panama Canal and our national flag. Many, the Panama Canal is a symbol of diversity, and it is key to understand that the history of Panama has been marked by its multicultural society. You should also know that there is not really as to how Panamanians should look like. An up-to-date study about the ethnical distribution of Panama. The population is widely considered to be divided among three groups: people of predominantly African descent, people of predominantly indigenous descent, and lastly, European descent. Even considering the fact that we have so much population, Panama has not been of nationalism and xenophobia in the recent years. This is one of the main problems that we have addressed in Redefy: towards people of non-binary genders, sexism, discrimination based on disabilities, and many others. As a Panamanian straight young man, why do I advocate for the rights of immigrants, other people of non-binary genders, and women? Some have even been bold enough to ask me. I believe that the reason of my activism is accurately described by Benjamin Franklin. He states, he said, yeah. Okay, yeah. He said that just until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those. I believe that this goes back to a conversation that I started. Even when we successfully identify issues, we tend to assume that someone else, especially when these issues do not directly, like some would like to say. When we fail to speak up and or take action, we become accomplices. We become a part of the problem. For all of us to understand, has the same effect. Hateful acts. People who believe that the pursuit of social justice, people who are convinced that if they ignore a problem for long enough, it will disappear, they will really fight. In case that the issues that we address are not real issues, I hope that I can change your mind with a finally we're gonna see a video.
Well, so my family have served and we've defended this country and we've been to war for this country.
I'm really patriotic.
Well, I am 100% Icelandic. Yeah.
Kurdish wedding with my mom in the tradition. We're just proud black, so.
I think we are probably the best country in the world, if I'm honest.
Think about other countries and other nationalities in the world that you don't feel you get on with well, or you won't like particularly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the German.
A little bit.
Probably because of the home.
I have this side of me that's like, that hates Turkish people. But the government.
But French?
No.
Just that fact.
I'm more important than you. I don't know you, but in my opinion, I am strong and I am better than a lot of people.
Feel about taking a journey on your DNA.
Yeah, I feel very.
What could you possibly tell me that I don't know?
DNA works. So you get half from mum, 50% from each of them, and they get 50% from their parents, and back and back. And all those system, they filter down to make you for me. They spit up to the
That's a lot of spit.
the story at you. What's it going to tell me?
It's going to be, oh yeah, you're French, and friends are French, and wait.
100% Bengali.
So Cuban.
You're going to tell me that I'm English? No.
This video presents xenophobia as a real, and in the recent years, I've started an in-depth dialogue on this subject. For example, although the action of the Brexit was not inherent, this was a latent motivation for many of several polls conducted on the day of the ballot. To clarify, for the fact there are several social and economic issues for the British to leave the European Union. And I do not intend to undermine the democratic will of the British people, nor the validity of. However, the point that I do want to make, there are a number of people admitted to having voted solely based on an anti-immigrant sentiment. In the aftermath of the vote, the United Nations High Rights made statements about the concerning hate crimes and xenophobic attacks. Going back to a point that I introduced earlier, Panama is not an exception to these rising anti-issues throughout the world. In times of, we have also made the mistake of uniting against those who look or rather than uniting ground. around a common goal. Panama has received an influx of which were estimated to amount to about 300,000 living in the country as of 2016, according to La Estrella de Panama. To put this number, it used to be roughly 7.5% of the Panamanian population. Now, when you're trying to drive significant change, you most certainly encounter opposition. Some of the most repeating criticism that we have got as an organization struggle against xenophobia, as our detractors tend to believe that our position relies and they claim that immigration has negative effects on Panamanian labor. Heads up, this is where I get technical. Let's break down the statement that foreigners harm the by breaking down the label foreigner groups, foreign labor, and foreign investors. In order to make a distinction between my opinion and the opinion, I will now introduce an excerpt from Shifting Gears, a growth diagnostic of Panama, a report published by experts from the Center for International at Harvard University. In regards to foreign labor, it states, and I quote, "As registered by censuses, immigrants tend to be more than native workers, and the inflow of high-skilled migrants with higher salaries for Panamanians working on the same industry province is a clear signal that the skills brought by migrants complementary, not substitutes, to that of the Panamanians." Now, with regards to foreign investment, I'd like to say is based on an economic indicator, foreign direct investment. In 2015, foreign direct investment made up 14% of the gross domestic product of Panama. Money becomes the salaries of thousands, meaning that it actually brings about huge benefits for the locals. I'd also like to address those forms of discrimination that have been institutionalized and turned into laws. Talking to a fantastic core team of Panagen, I was told that one of the approaches taken by GIN projects is known as, and that this is about issues of regulatory framework. What I want to show you now is an excerpt of a decree that was in effect in Panama for 59 years, between 1949 until just recently, in 20, when it was abolished. This decree states as follows: clandestine prostitution, pimping, supplies of sexual degeneration will be sanctioned with the penalties. Simply put, what this was that homosexual acts were punishable by up to a year throughout 59 years of Panamanian history. Some might ask why this is relevant, especially taking into account that it probably was. The reason why I believe this to be so important is are no less than it should, and they are supposed democratic consensus of its people. As long as we have ideas like this embedded into our vote, we're sending the wrong message. A message that insinuates beliefs to be true. Clarify that I am not showing you this because I want to put the way out of a desire to undermine Panama. But I am showing you this because if there is something that we can learn from post-World War II Germany, that is that humanity must be able to analyze its history, a journey of self-criticism. That most likely all of our societies have allowed something to happen that we, for instance, remember that slavery was legal for hundreds. I'd like to ask you, did the people used to enslave acquire human features at the time of the civil rights movement? Of course not. They were always, but our laws did not always recognize them as such. If you think about it, would still exist and be legal if it weren't for the people who decided to change that. Similarly, the Holocaust could have been much more deadly if it wasn't for the Oskar Schindler and other people who were not Jews who decided to make it right for as many people as they could. Finally, I would like to speak briefly about my nations and debate. My choice to embrace these disciplines, along with reading, responds to a desire that I have in this speech. My desire to start a conversation about the issues that affect us. First years of my MUN career, I spent them mostly as a delegate. I believed that the only way that I could make a change was by speaking up. However, later on, I came to understand that listening and creating opportunities for others is also crucial. And that is when I started to get involved in chairing and organizing conferences, as you can see on the pictures. I also like to push my boundaries beyond Panama in order to meet people who were from different parts of the world. This journey has involved young people from all over the world. And you might, but I have concluded that us young people come from, we have so much in common. And I have hopes generation has a sense of righteousness and justice, skills to make a difference. It's been a while since the previous first clip. Story ended. What happened when the people who claim to be sure of their nationality looked at their DNA? See what happened.
Jay, can you come down and join us?
I'm a little bit nervous today.
So you ready to find out your results? Read it out to us, please.
Oh my god. Wow. Shit. I didn't expect that.
All of them.
Whoa! No. No.
Caucasus, which was
Yeah.
In Portugal, Italy, Greece.
I'm 32%.
What? 30%. Can we 5% German?
I'm Irish.
Yeah, so I'm a Muslim Jew. You saw these results online?
Eastern Europe. Iceland has definitely moved closer to Europe.
Go a bit far right now, but this should be compulsory. No such thing as like extremism in the world. If people like that, like who would be stupid enough to think of such thing as like a pure race?
In a way, we're all kind of cousins. In a much more, you have a cousin. And guess who it is? Wash,
What's up?
why don't you come down here and meet your...
I didn't know I did. This is like, my heart. I'm a real man.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you.
So would you like to travel to all?
Yeah.
20th time that I watch it and I still get chills. Anyways, let's bring all these ideas. If you can only remember one thing about this speech, I'd like to take away. As of now, social sustainability, it seems to be unattainable. But the only reason why that last statement is true is because have committed to changing that. And we are all responsible. We all have the ability to build a sustainable society. And the youth is absolutely no exception. Aside that, I'd like you to think about what you can do to enhance your contribution to social sustainability. Maybe all you have to do is thinking about your projects as just and think out what are the greatest things. Remember that one person by providing an education, or perhaps a family by bringing water to her home, or perhaps just a small community by building a hospital in the right direction. Once we all agree, move in that direction, we will turn the dream of social sustainability into a goal for humanity. Thank you very much. Extremely fruitful conference.